Hey guys, I am Ash and this is Saf and we are playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. This is a sponsored video, a sponsored channel. The download link is in the pinned comment in the description. Saf, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. We're making some good progress on the account.
Yeah.
Not as quick, but we're making progress. But we have completed a key milestone today, haven't we?
We have indeed, and I feel like we're making some, I'm really excited about where the account is headed. And in case you guys missed it, I gotta give a shout out to our previous video. Dude, we did a whole video on Starlight Summons, and we ended up getting like probably the perfect legendary out of a Starlight Summons for our account that we could have dreamed of. So that was really, really awesome, but I don't want to ruin it. Maybe we'll have to show people in this video. But yes, that aside, we do have the season journey, the Continental Challenge, and we hit, to your point, a little milestone here. So if we go to the heroic journey, you can see we have defeated the Violet Dragon and got our hands on a free legendary hero, Errich. Is Errich good? Errich? Either way, whatever you want to call him. You call him Errich?
Well, if I was to say it like a Welsh person, it would be Errich.
Okay.
That's horrible to say on a microphone. So Errich is what we're going to go with.
Yeah, I'll say it like an American. Errich. There we go. So either way, this dude, we have not built him yet, and there's a reason why. But before we get to that, why don't you give us an overview? Everybody's going to get this guy in Season 1 for free. He's a legendary. You know, should we invest in him? More importantly, should we invest like scarce resources like Master Scrolls into this hero? Is he any good?
So he is actually good if you can build him with the right setup. So is he the best legendary in the game? Of course not. They're not going to give you the best legendary.
This is a 4. They give him an 80. You think that's like an 80, a B minus? Do you think that's a fair overall score for him?
Better than that.
Okay.
Especially if you have the right pairings, right? So he's a wild champion. Wild, a quick TLDR on what wild is. If you roll whenever you do an ability, you have a special roll chance to basically do a bit more damage. And then wild heroes will do bonus things based on wild procs happening amongst the team. So you might do like extra hits based on how many wild checks are performed successfully, as an example. So again, like most of these types, him on his own is not really the goal here. It's what kind of combinations of wild champions can we have? So he's wild, which is cool. Now, he's more of a wild enabler than he is the core damage dealer. So he can do some pretty good damage. You can see here on his passive, he will increase his chance of performing wild by 5% every time another wild champion is successful, up to 14 stacks. And when he performs a successful wild check, he does more damage. So in this instance, this is much more of an enabler for himself. You want a lot of allies to stack this as quickly as possible. That means every time he rolls it, he's got a better chance of doing bonus damage. Then we have a nice little bonus here where he's just going to attack an enemy once, and if it's a single boss, he gets bonus damage. But this is what's really good about him is his ultimate. He will summon 5 meteorites to strike the designated area, dealing damage to random enemies. Now, you might think that's pretty bad, but in a boss scenario with the artifact for Witch's Remains, this becomes one of the best ways to put defense down, because every single time it attacks, it can roll the chance. So it pretty much means you're going to guarantee to get a Witch's Remain proc on a single target encounter. And this is where he then becomes an enabler, because you pair him with an actual wild damage dealer, and the two of them work well together.
Okay, interesting. It feels like we're kind of Jimmy rigging him to be a little bit better than he is a bit, right?
Does he really? I mean, he's got a big base attack. And
without the artifact, without the artifact though, isn't he just like meh?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Like, you can run the epic artifact, the crown, right? So you don't have to run Witch's Remain, you can run crown. Epic artifacts are pretty easy to acquire.
True.
You only need to
we have a whole video about that.
Epic.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. The key thing is how you pair him with other
wilds. Yeah, because I imagine some of those low reviews and scores and comments are people who probably got him for free, didn't try him out on the right team, is like, dude, underwhelming, you know? Something like that.
Absolutely. And it's why, as you said at the start of this video, why haven't we instantly built him? Because actually somehow we've managed to avoid all of the really, really good boss killing wilds. We got some good wild champions, but none of them are like super good for like taking on bosses and good content areas. Like wild is very much, unless you get someone like Flora, a single target kind of focused effect. That's what I feel like. And in future seasons, they have like an AoE version for fire elements.
Look at our. I'm just looking at our kind of our legendaries so far, and we are pretty. I feel like we're pretty dang spread out, honestly. You know, we're not, well, I guess Dauntless, we're really growing. We're really growing. And I mean, I just ruined it, man.
And poison. We seem to pull all the poison apart from the one you need, which is Lothair. But apart from Lothair, we've pulled a lot of poison.
We pulled all the poisoners for sure. What for you is going to be, what type of heroes are going to be the decision makers in terms of whether or not you're going to be investing in him, in Errich or Errich when you actually get him? Yeah.
So the best way to do this is where you're at now. If you hit the filter at the top right, you can exclude anything that isn't wild. So you're always going to put like a standard tank with him. That doesn't really matter. What you're looking for is, what wild heroes do I have in my roster? Now, Flora is the principal, like, best-in-class wild champion. Very hard to get. If you get the exclusive artifact with her, she just becomes one of the most dominant champions in the game. Super strong. Has a baby little dragon in it. It's kind of cute. Very cool.
I think I remember you put her, I want to say number like 2 or something in our DPS in the game.
Super crazy. But if you just take yourself away from the epic pool, the legendary pool, we go to the epic pool. There's one that really stands out more than anything else, and that is Tonalnan. Tonalnan is the one that stands out. And if you have Tonalnan and you have Errich, then you have yourself a Vortex team, pretty much capable of doing significantly good damage. And it is mainly because of his passive and his ultimate. So on his passive, every time a wild, successful effect happens. So again, this is what I was saying about having more than one wild champion. If Errich increases his chance to perform wild, every time a wild check is completed in the team, Tonalnan will gain 5% crit damage, which stacks 20 times. That's a lot.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
That is a lot.
So you basically 100% double your crit damage.
Right. And then with his ultimate ability, you'll get attack up for 10 seconds, and it hits 5 times.
Okay.
And it hits. That's a very big multiplier for an ultimate epic. We're talking, was that 150% times 5? It's about 700%, 750%. My math is a bit rough, but it's very, very strong. But again, it's because Errich can activate on a much higher rate than other sort of wild champions that you have. Now, Alfie's not a bad option. He's more of I think he's a portal guy that kind of puts like a portal on the ground that makes you improve your wild chance when he does his ultimate. There we go.
Yeah,
not
Nexus,
really dealer, unfortunately. So he helps you improve the rate of it. So you might want it with Tonalnan to really speed up the process.
So if you don't have Tonalnan or another great legendary, you'd probably hold off. It sounds like.
Tonalnan or Foley. Caraman's great, but he's more of an assassin.
Wow, look at that damage.
Yeah, he'll jump at the backline. He's more of an
you love these guys. Yep.
Yeah, he can jump to the backline and assassinate people. He's not as good. He's probably okay. He just doesn't. He can't do as much DPS as Tonalnan can do.
And I've never heard you talk or us talk about any of these rares ever. Not to say
some of them are quite good.
Okay.
Some of them are quite good. Bronwyn is not bad. Foley is also quite good as well.
But them alone would not be a reason if you lacked. Okay.
I'm really looking for like Tonalnan or one of the other legendaries like Casper, Felicity, Flora, Rash, one of the other ones.
Okay, so any legendary. That would kind of inform your decision. All right, my last question is, if you do have one of those combos on your account, as we do not, how would you build Errich? Would you build him for damage or like, how would you just straight up DPS?
Yeah, if you look at his base stats, he starts with 20% crit rate, not 10%. He's got a pretty high base attack.
Not bad. Yeah.
You want to make sure if you are using like Crown of the Unclean or Witch's Remains, whichever you've got, he needs accuracy to land that. Even though his abilities don't apply a debuff, you would think I don't need accuracy. If you put an artifact that applies a debuff, you need accuracy. So,
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's not the same in a lot of games. Got you.
Yeah, you will need a bit of accuracy. So you will probably need to prioritize your runes and different things to get an accuracy. But otherwise, full damage. Go for it. I mean,
why not?
His passive gives you pretty good damage as well. Like when he successfully rolls, you get a nice little consistent
bonus there.
Little chunk of damage. So full attack, crit rate, crit damage, and then just make sure you got your accuracy that you need for the ultimate, and to make sure that the ultimate is activated in the right order. All
right. So, any final thoughts here on Errich's app before we go here? It sounds like we'll probably invest in him, but not until we get one of those epics or legendaries.
Yeah, exactly. I think he is a great free legendary that every player can get by completing the story in the campaign. But I would not rush to invest in him. Unless you know, like you can see here, we've got some of the building blocks, but we just lack that absolute damage dealer. He's more of an enabler than he is truly a damage dealer. Okay. So until we get the damage dealer to go,
look at this. This is like, it sounds like this is the exact definition, right? The number one, rating number 3, right?
Yeah, he's a great legendary to get. He's not terrible. You'll never not use him. You'll eventually find a team, but we're still missing that 1 or 2 epics that are going to make it worth building straight away. There you go. See, even Christian 11 there has got exactly the same thing.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you found this helpful. If you're just getting or unlocking Errich right now on your account, congratulations. Hopefully you do have one of those wild combo champs to get the full utility out of this kind of support damage dealer. With that, this has been Ash and Saf signing off. Go ahead and download the game if you haven't already using the links in the comments below. Much love. And as always, take care, guys.